for today, it is 81 degrees outside in Northern California. So for today, I am going to talk about 5 tips on how to save money when you're gardening. The reason I'm bringing up this topic is because I don't know about you, but everybody's been saying, and I'm sure you noticed this at the grocery store, that the vegetable aisle is very short. So because there's not a lot of vegetables available, this would be a good time for you to start growing your own food, and there's no better time than the present with everything that's going on. So for today, I'm going to talk about 5 tips of being able to do that, because a lot of people always say gardening is expensive, but these are tips that can save it. So the first one would be to actually use seeds. So I have here a variety of seeds. I'm going to plant all these seeds today for the garden. Plus, I have some bulbs of onions. Now, I know some people are concerned about the food supply, so when you buy the gardening items, the first thing you want to look for, if you're really concerned about it being organic, is that it's GMO free. Also, this one says the same thing. It says non-GMO. These seeds only cost me $1.44 at Walmart, so I was able to get a whole bunch of seeds. I also got some at Lowe's, but I'm planting a variety of them in the garden. These are all going to be direct sowed. The second way of being able to afford planting into your garden is by composting. So, I have this huge compost bin, but some people, there's, budget is tight. So what you can do is you can just take a garbage can, put some holes in it, and then you can use that for your compost bin. We're going to walk over to the garden. Okay, so I've got my equipment. I'm walking over to the garden. And now that we're in the garden, I'm going to bring up the third tip on how to save with gardening. Third tip is using cuttings. So what I mean by cuttings is, if you come over here where these tomato plants is at, you could just cut like part of this tomato plant, put it in some water, let it root, and then you can put it into the garden. If you have other friends that are gardening, you could do it that way. And then, as I mentioned about the seeds, another tip with the seeds and with the cuttings is you could do a seed exchange with your friends. You could go to the library. They have free seeds over at the library if that's what you want to do, if you need to save some money. Most people that garden, they're very generous people, so if you ask them to take some of their cuttings, though I'm sure they'll let you do it. It's free. The fourth method to save money when you're gardening is you can use recyclable containers. There's a lot of plastic containers out there. You could take them, put some holes on the bottom, and you could just use those to plant your seedlings indoors. So that way you can save, container space when you plant them out here into the garden. Same thing you could do with empty jugs. You could take the empty jugs, put some holes on the bottom. You could plant some, if you want to do a container garden. That's a way of saving money. Finally, the last tip that I would say, number 5, to help you with your gardening is to direct sow. You just want to pick the right time of the season, and in our case, we're at the last day of April, and we're going to direct sow many of these seeds into the garden. And that's a way of saving money if you don't want to use plastic containers, you don't want to worry about paying for a grow light. You can just direct sow these into the garden. I have this beautiful garden that was built for me, but you can even kick it old school and plant it directly into the garden that I have in the back over there, where it's just regular soil. You just want to make sure you amend your soil by using your compost and tilling the soil. So these are the 5 tips. 1, start with the seeds. 2, use compost. 3, use your cuttings. 4, use recyclable containers. And then 5, direct sow. And if you use all these things, you should have a garden. So from here, I'm going to pick something to plant right now. So in this case, I'm going to plant the bulbs. So I'm going to come over here to the garden. And I already have some planted. So I'm going to plant some more in the same area. I'll go ahead plant some onion bulbs. And I got these onion bulbs over at, of all places, Winco. There's 100 of these bulbs. You can just put them into the garden. And even if the bulbs don't get very big, you can take the bulbs and constantly cut them and use them as green onions. I'll continue to plant more onions along with these other plants. For today, I'll keep you posted on how it goes. So I'll keep constantly seeing pictures of the garden and keep you posted on how everything grows. We would recommend to tune in once a week. Stay tuned so that we have actually new, so you can see how big this garden expands and how much fruit and vegetables reproduce. I got to plant some seeds, so keep going, keep growing, and I'll see you soon. Bye.